Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly, and welcome everybody once again for another amazing video of DIY investing. I went through over the weekend and made you guys a very detailed Bitcoin analysis. This is going to perfectly explain everything that I'm expecting on a big picture trend with Bitcoin. We're going to analyze all of the prior bull runs that we've had in Bitcoin, and we're going to explain how they're actually identical to everything that we're going through right now. Even though this bear market has been really choppy, we've seen a lot of volatile price swings, this really isn't that different from any of the prior market cycles that we've had in years past. Obviously, every cycle is going to differ, but with that being said, most of these are actually highly correlated in more ways than you would think. By the end of this analysis, you guys are going to perfectly understand exactly where Bitcoin is headed on a long term. We're also going to know exactly what to be expected on the short term, and we're going to be analyzing to figure out what this means heading into this next cycle. If you're new and just finding this channel, always remember to do me a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing to this channel for more updates. Make sure that you guys click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos like the one provided for you here. And always remember, guys, I have a Discord community. This is one of the fastest Discord communities out there, and it's one of the biggest inside of cryptocurrency. You guys are definitely going to be able to find a ton of value as far as trading, as far as investing, and talking to a group of other people that are interested in the same topics. You guys are definitely going to want to check it out. It's free for anybody that wants to. All you guys got to do to join is click in the description of this video, and there you're going to find the invitation link. Now, on the Discord server, I also offer my more exclusive content like the video course and signals. So if you're somebody that wants to learn off of all of my educational content, or you want to copy like my long-term portfolio, make sure that you guys stay all the way to the end, because I'm going to be taking a couple minutes and explaining how to sign up for the video course and signals, what it comes with, and how we can get you going today. Alright guys, we got a lot of really exciting things to cover. I know this one is really going to make you guys excited for the long term. So without further ado, let's jump right in the video today. Alrighty guys, so here we are taking a look at my Twitter. I wanted to actually go over this tweet that I made because this is going to compile all of the charts that I wanted to talk about to you guys today. Now, really what I wanted to update you guys with was the long-term, log scale chart of Bitcoin, because this price action is all of what we have for Bitcoin. It's important to understand what's happening on the macro trend so that we can start to take, calculated risks, so that we can start to average into the markets and we can start to do these things so that we can make the most money for ourselves possible. And so we're going to go through here and actually look at all these charts because I wanted to share with you guys, some really important things that are actually playing out. We'll start off with this one. Now, this is the all-time graph of Bitcoin. You guys can see that we have these bull runs, short-term corrections, and then we start a brand new parabolic cycle, short-term correction, and then another one. And this is pretty much the way that we've been ever since Bitcoin's been around. We are known for having these very parabolic cycles and then these short-term corrections. And then this is just the way that it's been every single time. And when we take a look over here, we can see that this has pretty much been the case. Every single time we have a parabolic run, we top out, make a short-term bear trend, and then we break out of that and start a brand new parabolic run. Up to this point, there's been 3 different parabolic runs. And what we're doing right now is building the ramp heading into this next one. This will be parabolic run number 4. Because if you look at the chart, we can see that we already had the parabolic run, we've already had the bear market decline, and then with this breakout, this is us just building a base. Even though this one, it started breaking out and then uptrending the whole way through, same with this one. This one's been a little bit different. We made a higher high. We went from 3.2K to 14K, and then from 14K back down to 3.8. So this one's just been very volatile. But nonetheless, I believe that we're building a rounded base here. And we're going to start seeing the next major parabolic run that's going to take us to about the end of 2021, heading into 2022. That's where I expect the top to be. Now, if we actually dive in here and take a look at the first cycle, this was the very first Bitcoin cycle where it went from about a cent to $32, right? Very, very big parabolic move, and this is pretty much what it looked like. We started this parabolic trend, we bounced off of this trend line as we went higher and higher. Eventually, we topped out, sold back below this, and then we started our new bear trend. Now, the bear trend, they last about a year between cycles. This one didn't last quite as long because this was one of the earlier cycles. It didn't take as much money to pump the prices up so high, and it also didn't take as much money to actually break from the downtrend. And so this one was only about 6 months, but nonetheless, the same thing happens. We break the downtrend, and then we start the new parabolic cycle. And this is what happens here. Brand new parabolic run. We can see higher highs, all the way up on this trend line until finally we break back a low and then we top out and start a new bear trend. This is where the bear trend starts lasting about a year's time. This was almost exactly 1 year from high to low. And we can see that we just trended below this until finally we did the same thing as the last one and we broke out of that downtrend and then we started a new parabolic run. And that was the most recent cycle that we've had here. Guys, this is pretty much just one and the same. It's just repeating the same cycles. Obviously, there can be some differences. The market structure doesn't have to look 100% the same. But nonetheless, because we're seeing it even follow the same chain of commands, it really shows how correlated all of this is. We start a brand new parabolic trend, higher highs, higher lows the entire way up. Finally, we break that, start our short-term bear trend. And then this was us the entire bear market, right? Until finally, at about 5,000 when we got that breakout, this was the breakout of that bearish trend. And this is really what started this brand new uptrend. And so in hindsight, based off of, the other two, every time we break out of this downtrend right here, we start a new parabolic cycle. Same thing happened here. Broke out, parabolic cycle. Broke out, then we got a parabolic cycle. And now we're doing it again for the 4th time here. And this is what takes me to today's chart. This is where we're currently sitting at. A lot of people are skeptical. A lot of people are still expecting downside. We're kind of at this in-between stage where, maybe it's possible we get one more short-term correction. Everybody's expecting it, which is kind of why I feel like we're not going to get it. There's just so many people that are bearish right now, and it doesn't make a lot of sense to me because we're just repeating the same cycles over and over and over again. We can see that the same thing happened here. We're just starting that brand new parabolic trend. And this one has just started our first higher high. This one is really early in this new cycle, and it's important to understand that. Now, this is a really cool chart that I've made. This is actually the overall parabolic trends followed by the short-term corrections. And then these yellow lines with the little yellow box is actually where the halvings have taken place. And so this was halving number 1 around November of 2012. This was when we went from 60 Bitcoin down, or was it 50? I don't remember. This was our first halving though. It went from like 60 to like 30 or 25. I don't remember exactly how many, but it was a pretty big half. We went from being pretty easy to actually mine Bitcoin. You could mine Bitcoin on your normal laptop, towards that actually becoming much harder to do because the difficulty adjusted and it now became twice as hard to get mine new Bitcoin. And so this is what really drove that first parabolic run, and this seems to be the case every single halving. 4 years later, we get our halving number 2. I actually bought my first Bitcoin right before this halving, down here at about $400. And so I got in right before our second halving. That second halving came around, $700 per Bitcoin, $800, right around that range. And then we ended up getting another major big parabolic run. And this generally happens right after the halving is when we get this parabolic run. And this happened here. And then recently we just had our 3rd halving. This was the big one that happened in March, guys. This happened right around the COVID panic, and so I think a lot of people just seem to forgot about the fact that we did have this happening because there was just so much volatility that came into the market shortly after that everybody forgot about it. But here we are, guys. We're just starting this brand new trend. In my opinion, we're going to see something similar to what we've seen in the last cycles. And that is just coming a new big parabolic market cycle that's going to take us into the end of 2021. That's my time frame for this. And I believe that it'll look something very similar to all of the other ones that we've had up to this point, because this is pretty much the same chart. It's just repeating the same exact trend, and that's why I don't really see the big reason to be super bearish. I get that there's some differences in the market structure, but overall there's not enough difference to make me think that we're just going to randomly stop having a bull run. I get that there's the COVID panic, I get all of that, but in my opinion it doesn't matter as much. I don't think that we're going to get another sharp crash. I think that this is just starting the foundation before we go up again. Now, this is what's actually going to take us into the 4-year cycle theory, because the 4-year cycle theory is very important. Now, a lot of people confirm that we're actually lengthening in cycles, and I personally disagree. I think that we're just hitting 4-year cycles, and this cycle won't be any longer. It'll just be the same as what we've experienced in the last one. And really the last one, the way you measure a 4-year cycle is from peak low to peak low should equal 4 years. So 4 years is about 1,450 days. Our cycle low happened at about $150 per Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin went to 20,000. And you don't measure from low to high, you measure from low to low. And so we wouldn't have went from $150 to 20,000. We would have measured the bottom of 3.2 thousand instead. So from low to low equaled 4 years time. Now low to low was $150 to 3.2 thousand. And so let's assume that that pattern plays out again. We should see another 4-year cycle. So from low to low will equal 4 years, with our first low being 2019, I'm gonna actually round it up to 2019 because we're so close to that it's just easier to calculate. So 2019, 4 years into the future would be 2023. So in my opinion, guys, we're going to actually be seeing the bear market bottom at the top of this new cycle that will top out at the end of 2021 heading into 2022. We'll get a 1 year bear market that'll take us into 2023, and that's where our next low will be. You know, maybe it's like around $35,000. You know, maybe it's closer to about 75. I have no idea, but that's kind of what I'm expecting to see play out. Now, if we actually take a look here and we look and analyze the cycle highs, every cycle high that we've seen, you know, I'm not actually counting the first cycle because the first cycle, there wasn't very much money into it. You know, the time frames don't line up the same with my thesis here, and so we're not even going to look at that. But what I wanted to share with you guys is the last 2 cycles and how they're actually really much the same. Each cycle high that we get happened in the winter. So in this case, it was around the 1st of December that we topped out from $1,100 down to about $150. And then recently, in the most recent bear market top at the bull market top in 20,000, you know, we topped at around the 11th of December. So almost that 1st of December point again. The winter seems to be the points of highs and lows. And if we actually come in here, we'll analyze that. So the cycle high happened at the 2nd of December. The cycle low happened around January, about a year later. Now, the cycle high happened here, December of 2017. The cycle low happened in 2018. So this is just 1 year, but they're both happening, both highs and the lows are happening exactly in the winter, almost at the same time frames. December, January, which is why, because of the 4-year cycle theory, you know, if our cycle low happened in 2019, at the very beginning of 2019, then 4 years into the future is 2023, which is why I have our cycle low drawn out here at 2023. Now, if we take a look at the cycle highs and the cycle lows, they're 1 year apart. The cycle high happens 1 year before the cycle low. Same thing, 2013, or it's technically 2014 since we're going to round it up to January. So 2014 to 2015, that's 1 year. Same here. 2018 to 2019, that's 1 year. Now, in this one, if we peak out in 2021 heading into 2022, 2022 to 2023 is 1 year, which is going to coexist perfectly with the 2023 cycle low. Guys, there's too many correlations here for me to be bearish. I mean, if we look at the 4-year cycle theory, it lines up with this identically. Why wouldn't it play out once again? In my opinion, it will. Because the last cycle and this cycle played out identical. We got our cycle low. It was exactly 4 years to our next cycle low. Identical, guys. You don't find that type of consistency and that accuracy very much inside of technical analysis. Now, if we come in here and we apply the same rule, but we look at the Bitcoin halving, we can see that the Bitcoin halving, you know, just kind of takes place in between, right before we get that big parabolic run. That's why I believe that we're just heading into this next parabolic phase, that things are going to really start to take off, which is why it's so important that, you know, if we haven't been accumulating, if we haven't been looking into alts, we've been seeing so many altcoins popping off across the board. It's just been mad. It's been so easy to just buy a coin, have it make a bunch of money, sell that, and then put the profits into something else and just flip and repeat the cycle over and over again. What we're seeing here is almost no different than any of the prior cycles. And that's why it's super important that we're taking the time right now that as we look at these charts and as we see this and we see what's playing out, we're getting ourselves ready for truly the biggest Bitcoin bull run that we've ever seen, because the first time ever we now have institutional investors that are unloading money into this market. That's what's really important here. You know, up to this point, if you look at any of the other bull runs, whether it was 1, whether it was 2, whether it was the most recent one, 3, you know, none of these had institutional money. Sure that there was rich people that invested, sure that there were smart people that were early on in the cycles, but nonetheless, guys, back in here, it was really just nerds and drug dealers. That was pretty much the only places that used Bitcoin. Around this cycle, around, you know, 2015 or so, we started to get a little bit more exchanges. We started to get more adoption. Some stores accepted it. But nonetheless, guys, it really wasn't adopted even then. 20K happened. And then around 20,000, the exact top was when we got institutional involvement. That was when the CME futures trading opened, and that was the exact same day that the Bitcoin price started crashing from 20,000. It's not coincidence that that happened at the exact same time futures added. And the reason for that is because for the first time ever, we now have institutions that were able to short the market at 20,000. As the institutions shorted the market started to crash. And when the market started to crash, all of the retail that had been FOMOing into this entire time started to panic sell. They started selling their coins. And guess who was there profiting in their shorts, accumulating all of that? It was institutions. And then at the exact bottom of the Bitcoin cycle, the futures contract closed exactly 1 year apart. That was the exact bottom before Bitcoin immediately shot up to 14K. Is that coincidence, guys? No, it's not. There's big players that are in this game, and those are the players that are making the move right now. This is the first cycle where we've had real institutional money. Why do you think all of a sudden, even though we've had years of uptrending, now the institutions get in, now it's just bearish, now they're just gonna, crash it forever? I don't think so. There's much more involvement with them being into cryptocurrency than we're led to believe. There's reasons they're here, guys. They wouldn't just buy it just to not make money. They're investing in the earliest points. They're accumulating everybody else's fear. And what we're going to see is a massive parabolic cycle. Many people won't make it. Many people will miss out on it entirely. I'm not one of them. I've been dollar cost averaging. I focused very hard on helping you guys do the same, following and giving you guys my open portfolio, talking about what I'm buying. And guys, my videos speak for themselves. If you go back and look at any of the coins I've been talking about, we're in profit on literally every single one of them except for XRP. Pray to the XRP gods to help us get out of that hole. But, guys, it really isn't that crazy to just long hold this stuff, because what we're seeing is the exact same thing that has played out numerous times before. I don't see the big reason to be scared. Make sure that you guys aren't getting shaken out. Focus on that long-term prospect. Now, quickly, before we wrap things up, I wanted to take some time to actually talk about how you guys can sign up for the video course and signals, because you guys are really going to want to check that out. Now, what I always tell people is when you're getting into this market and you want to learn how to actually do this stuff, you're either going to pay for courses, you're going to pay for educational content, or you're going to pay for the market in losses. And for me, I've made countless losses inside of this market. I lost over $50,000 before I was able to actually figure out what I was doing. And now, in this 20-part video series, I'm actually going to be teaching you guys all of my strategies. So if you're somebody that wants to learn how to do what I'm doing, obviously that's going to be the case for you. You guys are definitely going to want to check out the video course. I'm going to be adding new videos as we go, so there's going to be a lot of new cool stuff that's going to be added. Now, for you guys that would rather just copy my long-term portfolio, guys, we've had so many good trades that are going off. We nailed VeChain. That thing pumped over 3x. We nailed Zilliqa. That pumped over 2x. We nailed Quant. That was another 2x. There's so many of these different coins. There's so many that are in profit as we speak right now. Literally every single one of the calls have been in profit pretty much. There's been very few that I've actually got stopped out on, and we're just hitting that point of the bull run where everything's going up. It's really easy to make those profits, which is why I'd love to have you guys here following me, copying my portfolio, because when you guys join up for the signals, you're going to get immediate access to my long-term portfolio. This is where 80% of my portfolio is. I'm going to send that to you guys. And then we're also going to be taking 20% of our portfolios and then allocating that for shorter term swing trades. We nailed our margin longs with Chainlink, with XRP, with Tezos, all of them. They're just in a lot of profit right now, and you guys would be here making all that same profit with me. So, it's really hard to make a lot of money by yourself if you don't know what you're doing in this market. At the end of the day, I'm not trying to tell you exactly every single thing, but I will be able to share with you guys my portfolio, give you guys enough input to where you're going to be able to consistently be making those same profits that I am over the course of this next cycle. So if this is interesting to you guys, all you guys got to do to sign up is click in the description of this video. There you're going to find the invitation link to my Discord. Once you guys have access, just shoot me a message or any of the 6 moderators a message, and we will be here to help you get started on the right path today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Let's get this profit. Let's focus on the long term, because this has never been better. And this is coming from somebody that's been in crypto since 2016. Let's get this, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, peace out.